Station's comic character of the week. Tonight, as usual, I got my usual suspects, my usual crew, my usual entourage. Down below me is Dan the Man Kelly, the road manager for none other than the Ric Flair of comic books, coming to you live from the Library of Congress. And of course, next to me is Tim with the luscious locks. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, my brother.
Really good. You know, when people pull their hair away from their neck, Sal, they want you to see it. So that's
yes.
My hair's pulled back for you.
That's a signature thing.
You sexy beast, you.
He's got a signature move.
I guess. Oh, let me just.
He's channeling his Scarlet Witch tonight.
That's right.
Harry, it looks like your hair. Did you get a haircut or something recently? It looks like your hair's kind of nice looking tonight.
Who, me?
Yeah. You have a date night tonight.
Well, I got a whole date this whole weekend. My lovely redhead turns 60, so the whole weekend is hers. So yes, I had to get pretty. I gotta get pretty. I've got tomorrow.
Got a few days to get pretty.
Yeah, it's a process. I'm going to. We're going to dinner just as soon as I get off the bus. They're going to pick me up. We go to dinner because we had to switch our owners meeting at Comic Logic to Friday night. So then they'll drop me off there. My best friend Mike will take me home, and then so it's just the whole thing. And then Saturday, she's got a couple clients, and then the rest of the days whatever she wants. And then Sunday, we're going on that road trip to Warrenton. She wants to go to that antique mall, and that just happens to. We'll do some leaf peeping, and that just happens to be the place where there's some Spectre books that I may be able to score for Tim. So not a bad deal. So
no, not at all.
Yeah. Well, wish her a happy birthday from us, please.
Oh well, look, 60 years old, and she is rocking it.
Yeah,
40-year-olds to shame. 30-year-olds to shame. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're still here in the pre-show, but we're going to make it a short pre-show tonight. So we're going to be discussing the Scarlet Witch tonight and all things red and magical, chaos magical.
Oh, red and magical.
Yes. There you go.
We were showing off figures.
Oh, I don't know.
There's mine.
Dan, do you have any figures?
I don't, but I have this glass that.
Oh. And I've got a red chair. So.
She's transmuted herself into a chair. That's her.
There you go.
You're sitting on her lap right now.
That's right. I think that's backwards. I think she should be sitting on my lap. But I digress.
We are not at After Dark, gentlemen.
Yes.
Hey, either way, you're a winner.
That's true. That is so
that's
true.
right. We're not on After Dark. My bad.
Nope.
I need a disclaimer. I need to hear that several times. This is not After Dark. This is not After Dark.
I'll make sure to remind you in the next intro when we go super live.
It's After Dark, but it's not After Dark.
Parental advisory, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Gary is hands-on.
There we go.
Yep. Comfy. Dan will tickle toes, and I will seduce you with a silver tongue.
With a silver tongue.
I think we're PG-13. We're PG-13. Is that what we are tonight?
We are PG-13.
PG-13.
All right, very good. So what else is going on, guys? Did we score some any good books this weekend, or does the cast pick a couple of days?
So
it's you, Tim.
I've got some books here that I got.
I want you to show the hardcover first.
Okay.
Show the hardcover first.
I was going to save some of these. Well, I'm going to save most of them for when I'll be on Comics of the Week next week. I'm going to be off this weekend. It's my daughter's birthday on Saturday. So
nice.
How old will she be? She'll be 14.
So 14. There you go.
14. So 2 lucky ladies are going to have birthdays this weekend. Your wife and my daughter. So
and your daughter is what day?
October 21st. So on Saturday.
That's my wife's birthday. Yes,
look at that.
Day. Okay.
There you go.
Day. But this hardcover I picked up, I paid $15.35 through Atomic Avenue. And I looked on eBay. Dude, it's amazing. Guys, if you're not shopping on there, shop your LCSs first, your local comic shops. And if you can't find what you're looking for, head over there because it supports virtual local comic shops. And most of the money goes directly to those guys.
But do it after the show. After the show.
Do it after
Not right now.
But on eBay, these books are selling on sale for 130, but I haven't found any sold listings. But I found this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this is the
Pretty.
Dynamic Forces and DDP Devil's Due Publishing hardcover of G.I. Joe vs. Transformers. Cover alone looks gorgeous.
The price is worth it for that cover alone, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, yeah. Sal and I have been doing some due diligence, looking up as much information as we can on it, and have found some stuff. I also want to show Aquaman #2.
Yep.
Love it.
Little
Yep.
hand sushi.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
right. That's where the hand gets destroyed.
Damn piranhas.
I'm gonna save the Silver Age book for next weekend. But I want to show where is it?
It's right there.
It is right here. This beautiful Ghost Rider #21. This is minty fresh. Well, not no more, because it's got a fold up in the corner, but the white on it is very clean. Look at that.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, didn't we use that cover? Did one of us use that cover for when we did Ghost Rider? I think we did. One of us had that.
So
I want to get a blank Ghost Rider sketch cover to do, because I've seen them where they're like all black.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I could do a cool Ghost Rider drawing, on the black blank cover.
Now, Dan, I have a Dark Knight's Metal all black sketch cover. I'll send that to you if you want to use that for something.
I mean, if you want me to draw something on it for you, yeah. I don't. I was just thinking for the Ghost Rider that I could do something like keep the skull black and then do some stuff with with the rest of it.
Nice.
I don't have the pens I would need for it. Like, I'd have to go buy some, but I was thinking something along the lines of like what the glow in the dark cover was, like just his head and maybe his upper body, not like the full thing.
There you go. Right on.
And that was that Danny. What you just showed was the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah, this is Danny Ketch. This is Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti cover.
Love Palmiotti. Met him. He's a great guy.
He just launched a new Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think I saw that too. That series ended with issue like 93.
93 or 94, yeah.
94 was done 8 years after 93.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just found this out when I was cataloging my CLZ books last year, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, where the hell's 93? I never got a 93. So it was the last one of the run. I guess they were allocated. Didn't have it, but I have a 94, which came out like 8 years later. So now to get the 93, I'm going to have to pay like $80 to get that.
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? so
Low
I mean, that was
print run, and yeah.
Look up the look up the price of the last issue of Marvel's G.I. Joe.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I think it's issue 142 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then because they're bringing G.I. Joe back now, they're like, oh, it's a continuation of a real American hero. Like, so it was the whole Marvel run, and then didn't he have a continuation of it when he, like, for IDW?
Yeah, I believe so.
And like that picked up and kept the story going. And then now they're going to do it again. They're like, oh, 20 years of it. I'm like, that would be cool to get, but man, I don't remember all that stuff. Like, I'd be picking it up, like, I'm completely lost.
Well, I know they are.
Well, I was just stunned.
Yeah, I know for G.I. Joe, for Image, they're going to do the continuation of a real American hero, which I think bleeds into the Energon universe. So it's like a soft reboot kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm looking it up to see what the last issue was.
Could put my
It
cameras down
was
a little bit.
issue 155.
Okay. So I was way off. 13 issues.
And there's a subscription insert too if you want the complete issue. So it looks like if you are looking to get a good copy of that, expect to pay north of $150.
Forget that.
Ouchie. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I like G.I. Joe, but I don't like G.I. Joe that much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still in the pre-show. I think we're going to start the show here in about 5 minutes. Are you guys good with 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds good to me, brother.
Sounds good to me too. So,
So
Gary, I gotta ask you.
Yep.
How many?
Yes.
Do you have a complete run of Scarlet Witch? Do you have a complete run of
The
Scarlet
first,
Witch?
so the first volume of Scarlet Witch was, well, I got Vision of Scarlet Witch. Let's see what CLZ says, because there have been several volumes,
Right.
and I know I got a few of them, and then I think I kind of backed off just because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it as much. But let me see what I have. Scarlet.
See, there was the Scarlet Witch and Vision
Mhm.
miniseries.
Well, there's a 4-issue miniseries. I have that. Then there's a 12-issue series.
Right.
I have that. But the Scarlet Witch solo title, Volume 1, was in the 94. I have those 4 issues.
Yeah, that
and-
Force Works costume. Oh.
Yep. And then number 2, Scarlet Witch number 2, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went to first 6, and then I have issue 9. So it went
I
15
think that run
issues.
was
I
only
just,
like 16 or so
15.
issues, right?
it was 15. Yeah, I just stopped just because. So maybe I'll go back and finish them. I was just not feeling it at the time. And that was number 2. And then volume 3. Let's see. Did I get any of volume 3?
That's currently running.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. I think the only one I got was if there was an Alex Ross one. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I did not, and I don't see an Alex Ross one. So that one, I just didn't. Some of the newer stuff.
Hey, Sal, I have to bow out for just a second, buddy.
All right, no
Do
problem.
you have them all, Sal? Do you have all those witches?
I do not. I have a little. I only have like 1 or 2 issues from Volume 1. It looks like the same from Volume 2, but Volume 3 I collected a lot because there were some great variant covers in there, and that Alex Ross Mephisto cover, which I have slab.
That I have. Yeah.
I got that slab. I got a couple of the annuals from Volume 3, and I don't know if I have that. I think I have that Vision of Scarlet Witch mini.
Yeah. The first one was 4 issues, and the second one was 12. I like the first one better.
Oh,
Of
I do.
Vision of
I
Scarlet
have them. Well, the first 1 through 4.
I don't
Very
have the
good.
first one. I've got about half of the second one. Like I wanted to get them, and then the prices, kind of spiked when WandaVision came out. But
Yeah.
they've cooled down a lot since that. Like the prices of that and the prices of West Coast Avengers really spiked with that show, and the Vision
Yeah,
and,
they did.
and Vision and
He's
Scarlet
back.
Witch series, the prices cooled down, but the West Coast Avengers, some of those still stayed pricey.
Yeah,
My son called. I had to take it.
not a problem. That's all
Yeah.
good.
No problem.
But I'm
Everything
good to
all
go now. Oh yeah,
No
yeah.
problem.
He was telling me about a video game that he's playing, and he wanted me to check him out while he's playing it. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a show, buddy. I can't. Oh, okay. Yeah, just check it out later, Dad. All right, love you. Bye. Bye.
And while we're on the pre-show, I do want to say something real quick. Under Opie Taylor on Facebook, I reposted something I did 2 years ago. A good friend of mine named Walter Ellerby died 2 years ago, and he was a Vietnam veteran, and he had a damn hard life. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, and he was somebody I respected. He was a brother to me, and it's just, if you get a chance to read it and just read a little bit about his story and about his life, it's just, there's a lot of men like that that Vietnam just did a number on, and just made life not easy.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a little bit of a conversation about that today.
Yeah, we sure did. Walt had a hard life, but it's just my way of honoring him just a little bit. So if you get a chance to look at it.
You posted the cover on Comic Book Character of the Day, right?
I posted the cover. Yeah, I posted the cover. But on my
Comic character.
No, he's
site,
talking about on his page.
On your
On
site,
Opie
on your own
Taylor.
page.
yeah, on my own
Okay.
page, I posted about my buddy that passed. It was, where you can do memories.
Yeah.
And I said a little something.
You know what?
Just
Put it on the Comic Character of the Day page. Do it. Just do it. Just share it to that.
Nah,
Sure,
it's got. Nah, I don't know. I feel funny about that. That's not.
All right.
I don't think that's the venue, But
All right.
like I said, it's more of a personal thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, but
Well,
I
I'll definitely check
appreciate
it out.
the offer of that.
Right.
I appreciate the offer of that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Are we thinking we're ready to start this show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
ladies
roll.
and gentlemen, stand by, and we will roll into this show.
With a groovy bass tune.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Where's Jamie?
For
Jamie
Jamie.
loves this.
Jamie's not here.
He's
I
getting
know.
ready to shake and shimmy to the sound of this awesome bass line.
You know.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week. I am Sal, the Slab Guy, your host, and as always, I've got my usual suspects with me. Down below is Dan the Man Kelly, now the road manager for none other than the Ric Flair of comic books.
Woo!
And of course, right next to me is Tim with the luscious locks of hair tonight.
There
How
you
you guys
go.
doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Awesome.
We got
awesome.
someone in the chat. Just want to bring that up there. Brandon says hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Brandon. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for joining
joining
us,
us.
buddy. Yeah, awesome. So, who are we covering tonight, ladies and gentlemen? And look at this. We got it right there. It is the Scarlet Witch herself, the Chaos Magic Master. Awesome. And Gary's giving us a little bit of hoodoo right there. Very good. Very good. All right, but let's go ahead and let's get some business out of the way. As I said, I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy, and you can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner and on Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan, why don't you tell them where everybody can find you at?
Well, when I'm not acting in the role of the modern day Bobby Heenan for Mr. Gary here, you can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Post a few times a week. Just posted a Captain America drawing that I'm working on today, so go check it out. Give me a follow.
Very good, by the way.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I saw it.
Like I put in there, I'm undecided because I'm not happy with the flag I did in the background. So like I'm thinking either leave the flag, maybe make it like a tattered flag, maybe just take the flag out and put like the kind of shield, like his original shield, or maybe something else. So go leave a comment and let me know what you think I should do. But then before you do that, check out what this guy here has going on.
He's always
Absolutely.
got something going
Thank you, brother. And you're rocking that button-down shirt, by the way. Looking very sharp tonight. Putting us all
Thank
to
you.
shame.
Yeah, I went from work to pick my daughter up to go to a niece's senior night and got home and put my daughter to bed and ran down here. I was like, I don't even have time to grab an Avenger shirt. Right
You're styling.
I was like, I've held these guys up enough already.
Doing great, brother.
You waiting?
Well, I am one of the proud owners of Comic Logic. We are Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Please come see us. You can catch me there, especially on Wednesday mornings when I'm getting my weekly fix right here in the veins, getting it good, getting those comics that I need, that 4-color boost that I have to have every week. Come see us at Comic Logic. We'd love to have you. Also, we are having Comic Logic is having our semi-annual LotCon in 2 weeks, and it will be on October 29th from 12 to 4 in our parking lot that we turn into a little mini comic convention. We'll have we'll have toys, we'll have comics, there'll be jewelry, there'll be local artists, local authors, plus we have our store. We'll have my dealer, my personal comic dealer, Mr. Damian Hill of Wardhall Comics, will be inside the shop with some beautiful 4-color treasure on the walls you'll get to see. So please come there. It's family friendly. Please bring your kids. We're having a trunk or treat. We'll have a costume contest. We're actually going to be graced by Dan and Sal, who will both be there with their youngins, and it'll be awesome to have family members there. So please come see us. And on Facebook, as Opie Taylor I am on the Comic Character of the Day site, and I post covers of the day. And these gentlemen here are all frequent contributors there. We all, we're all bound together by that Comic Character of the Day site, founded by our good buddy Archduke Kevy. And to round out this esteemed ensemble is our man with the golden baritone, Mr. Tim the Terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Gary, thank you so much for that intro. You can find all of us on your favorite social media platforms right there at the Codex Station. All you got to do is type that in. Favorite social media platforms where we're live streaming right now. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe. That helps us out way more than you could ever realize. It helps with the algorithm, helps get our shows out there to more people just like you. And we love you, and we want everybody else to see how awesome stuff like this is. Also, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the codexstation.com. Some restructurings going on with that there, but that'll be up soon. But you need to remember that site, because that is where you can go to get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the codexstation.com.
Like Boomhauer from King of the Hill said, it's really easy, man. Just go on there and just click. It's really easy, man.
Nice. Exactly. All right, Dan, since we waited for you, you've got the spotlight. Why don't you go ahead and give us the intro on the Scarlet Witch?
All right. Well, she first appeared in X-Men issue 4 all the way back in March 1964.
And hold on, Gary, do you have that issue?
Stanley and Jack Kirby.
Gary,
do I have that issue?
Do you have that issue?
My X-Men run is from 1 to 544. How's that?
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
So her origin. Now get ready. I tried to condense this as much as possible, but it's still a paragraph. But I condensed as much as I could. But it's still long and it's really weird.
Use that chaos magic. That chaos magic.
Wanda Maximoff is her real name. She is the sister of Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, and the daughter of Magneto. Now, fearing for their safety, their mother fled Magneto while she was still pregnant with them. She ended up in Serbia, where she gave birth to the children. They were then given to the High Evolutionary, who took them to his base in a place called Wundagore, in Wundagore Mountain, and put them in the care of Bova, who was a genetically evolved cow that he had made, that he had as their nursemaid. Later on, he takes the children for reasons unknown, gives them to Django and Maria Maximoff to raise, who themselves had lost their own children, so they raised them, Wanda and Pietro, in place of their own children. Now, eventually, they start to develop powers, and the villagers where they're at become fearful of them. They attack them, thinking they're demons. So they run. They believe that Django and Mario were killed, so they fled, and they lived their life as orphans together for many years. Eventually, Wanda used her powers to save the kid, and the townsfolk thought she was a witch, and they were going to burn her at the stake. Magneto, not knowing that they're his children, had just heard reports of mutant activity in the area, so he happened to be there. He saved them, brings them back to the States, makes them part of his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Again, not knowing that they're his children, found that out much later. And eventually they decide, when Magneto gets abducted by this space alien and taken off into space, the Brotherhood breaks up. They decide to reform, and they join the Avengers and to make amends for their crimes, and the rest is history. Like I said, it's still long, and that's leaving stuff out, and it's a weird one. But there you go.
I think they're on retcon 50, aren't they?
Yeah, they've retconned.
Yeah, they have retconned it so much. I don't know what the true origin is anymore.
They retconned it. I did not include any of the retcon stuff in this origin because it's stupid.
Now,
There
the one shot Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch that I did a review on covers a lot of what Dan said pretty close. So
Yes.
if you want a good explanation.
That was before they did some of the retcons.
Yeah.
Because them making Magneto their father, is somewhat of a retcon, but not really, because even before they said it was him, they had they had like intimated that, when the mother fled, that she fled someone that had developed great power and she was afraid. So they didn't initially come out and say, yeah, it's Magneto, but they intimated pretty closely that it was. So I don't really consider that a retcon.
Right.
So as far as
when they went to the Avengers, it was Avengers 16, where the Avengers realigned. Cap led them, and 3 other former criminals, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Hawkeye, were as they called it, Cap's kooky quartet. Yeah, so there you go.
Now, as far as her powers goes, her main power that she was known for years, her mutant power was her hex power that affects probability, and it causes random, unpredictable things to happen at whoever she directs it at. And for years, I remember that she had no control over it. So basically, like anything or anyone she just pointed at would get affected. So she had to be real careful about, even just pointing her hand. And then over time, exactly, opened, and all of his slabs caught on fire. Now, over time, they leaned into the witch aspect of her name, and had her start leaning a lot and doing magic and chaos magic, and she is now one of the strongest magic users in the Marvel universe, and has at times was not a Nexus being, then was a Nexus being, then was not a Nexus being. So I don't know what the status of that is right now.
I think she's on the not side.
She was that.
I think she's on the not side at the moment.
And she was also tutored by Agatha.
Harkness. Yeah.
Yep.
Which we should see a miniseries on Disney Plus probably sometime in the next 50 years if they decide to get off their butt and actually do it.
And just Agatha, do you know where Agatha first appeared? What book?
No.
I don't
FF.
know.
FF.
Oh, Fantastic Four.
That's right.
Franklin's nanny.
Oh, that's right. She was the nanny.
That's right.
That's right. So, yeah.
What issue was that?
What'd you say?
What issue was that?
One of the ones he owned.
You know what?
One of the ones you own. Right?
No, my FF run only goes from 1 to 416.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's all.
That's terrible.
I want to say like 104 to 120, somewhere in there, but we can look it up and fact check. I mean, somewhere in there. But I thought it was really interesting when they had Agatha basically came to the Avengers and took the witch and said, no, she's going to be studying with me for a while. And they're like, who are you? And Wanda went along with it because she wanted to learn more about her magic, side and her skills. So I always thought that was a pretty cool, pretty cool little subtext where she went to study with Agatha.
Yeah.
Agatha's first appearance was in Fantastic Four issue 94 in 1974.
I said 104, so that was close.
You're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
That's close.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Dan, for that lovely introduction. It wasn't,
nice.
cloudy
her second appearance
at all. Hold on. Go ahead.
Her second appearance was in Fantastic Four 103.
Okay.
So right there.
Right there.
I was in the ballpark.
Good. Very good. Awesome. Thank you, Dan, for that great intro. So before we jump into this nitty-gritty stuff, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor tonight is W Energy. So go over to www.w.gg, check them out, and use the code -X to save 10% on that order. There we go. Thank you for the ticker. Thank you very much. Yes, use code -X, and you can save 10% on that order. It's a good, clean energy drink. There's no bad aftertaste. There's no sugar crash afterwards, and it's just all around a good, clean energy drink. I got some right now. Working the punch, the tropical punch action right now. It's very good. So please check them out. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, and our first segment is what works best for this character. And Uncle Gary, why don't you go first and tell us what works best for her?
I think what works best for her is when she is just a wild card, when she is on a team and she is a team like the Avengers. That's the team I like her on, and the team she's most closely associated with, and East Coast and West. She's been part of both teams. But when she is a total wild card, the Avengers teams, you got powerhouses like Thor, Iron Man, Wonder Man. You've got these Vision powerhouses, but she brings something so different and so unique that you just can't prepare for what she throws at you. The chaos magic, and then once she got it under control, she became an even more devastating weapon. And the fact that that shows when a lot of times the enemies would target her first to get her off to remove her from the playing field, because that was something that you just can't account for because you have no idea how it's going to affect whatever your plan is. So that's what I like. I like the unpredictability and the sheer raw power and the fear that she puts in villains' hearts because they don't know how to account for her.
Very good, very good, very good. All right, Tim, what do you got? What works best for her?
So I'm going to parrot Uncle Gary. I think that is exactly correct. I think she is perfect as a team player, but definitely as the mystery, the wild card. The chaos magic plays very well into that. She is a character at first glance, looks like she cannot hold her own, but that it couldn't be further from the truth. In the current Avengers run, all of the Avengers are dealing with this world catastrophe, and each of them go to deal with something different. She goes and takes on one of the most powerful of these alien invaders by herself and holds her own very, very easily. Her chaos magic is exactly that. It's chaos, and she uses it very well with the training she got from Agatha Harkness, and even learning the stuff on her own. It fits. And another thing I think I want to add to that is the amount of love that she has, not only for Vision, but for other members of her team, even though at times they look at her and think of her as a negative wild card. She still is very compassionate and very caring and loving toward everybody involved.
Okay, awesome. Dan, why don't you go ahead next?
Yeah, I agree. I like her, as a member of the Avengers. It's, you would think because she's a mutant and she first appeared in X-Men that she would be associated with them, but she's never really been part of the X-Men.
Right.
Quicksilver was on X Factor and some other stuff, but like she's always really been an Avenger, like Gary said, an Avengers and Avengers West Coast. So I like seeing her on those teams. And you guys are right. Like power wise, you would look at her and think, oh, okay, whatever. But she's one of the most powerful Avengers out there. And, it's good when, if the villain sees her and it's like kind of underestimates her, then she takes him out. But I like how it was in the early days too, when she didn't really have control over her power as much. And sometimes like the hexes and the chaos stuff would be stuff that would help, and other times it'd be like, oh shit, that's gonna be a little bit worse for us. You never really knew. Like it was the
right.
If you ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the episode where Charlie just kept yelling "wild card," like that was just a lot prettier. So I like when they had that aspect of her, and like she always seems to, to be good when she's with someone. Like she was married to Vision for a long time, and she was with Wonder Man for a long time, and she still managed to fit in there like a little fling with Hawkeye too. So and then and Brother Voodoo too. She was with him for a while, working
the magic action, huh?
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah.
All right. Remember, folks, PG-13.
So they say, man, chaos in the head, chaos in the bed.
Oh my God,
that's right. Redheaded gypsy. Nothing wrong with a redheaded gypsy, man.
They're a little crazy, but that's all right.
So what about you, Sal? What is it you like about them?
So I got to echo a lot of points that you guys have said. I think she works well with the team, Avengers team, but I especially like when she's just working with Vision. As you can see in my stories later on, you'll see I chose one of those stories where it's just her and Vision. I like the chaos, unpredictability magic in the beginning. And I like how they started to explore more the witchy side of her, and I did like that as a growth in the character. And And to be honest with you, I really felt like she was one of the first females that was really powerful, along with like Sue Storm and Jean Grey. But in that time frame, she just was one of those most powerful women characters that you did not see in a lot of comic books. Sue Storm, she's powerful, but in the beginning, she was just invisible. She didn't really use her power offensively. Jean Grey, she was powerful, but she was always in the background, not doing too much, you would say, until later on in the X-Men.
You knew Sue Storm was powerful when she cut the air off of somebody, like just put an air bubble right there, and she's like, I can just make it bigger and you're gone.
Oh yeah, she did. That's how they beat the Hulk in that issue, that What If issue, about how was it? Is What If, whatever storyline that they lost, and that's how they beat the Hulk. She just put the air bubble around his head. He ran out of air, turned into Banner, and then
Done.
Out. So next to those two women, she was one of the more powerful women way back when, and I really liked that to show her as a role model for as a powerful woman character. So there's the other side of this equation I also like. I also like the insane Wanda, where she just went off the deep end, and you could tell like she was just super obsessed about her kids. That she needed to find her kids, or rescue her kids, and I just kind of like that craziness from her. I just like that as a character from her. So I also like the crazy Wanda.
Right now.
Okay. All right. So on to our next segment. We've got our three badass moments. So Tim, why don't you go ahead and kick us off for that?
No more mutants. That is, I think, the pinnacle of Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, when she had just lost her mind, and she just said the words "no more mutants," and it was done. That was badass.
I will be done.
Yeah, exactly. She the show WandaVision takes pieces from that storyline from House of M, and we'll talk more about that later. But I don't think there's anything more badass than that. The only other part that I can think of is in Dark Ages. She died in it, spoiler, but she was part of the team that went to the Unmaker to try and put a stop to him. And Wanda was doing what Wanda does until Vision was disintegrated, and then she lost it there and unleashed on the Unmaker. Almost took him out, but didn't quite. Like, she put full power onto him, and she died.
Didn't hold anything back.
No,
did not hold anything back. It's like the last game of the season, not going to hold anything back.
Exactly. I thought that was pretty badass too. And the moment that they kill her in the comic book, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
awesome.
That's what I got.
All right, I will go next here, and I actually have that No More Mutants as well as one of her badass moments. But I'm gonna go one step before that, and I'm gonna go for the House of M situation, because she warped reality for Magneto to have this area or have this world where he was in charge, and then to push it to No More Mutants. It's just crazy. And then my last one is what I really liked about it is she could summon Simon Williams whenever she needed him, and and he would just pop up, or he could feel when she needed him, and he
Simon,
would just
I need you. Wanda,
boom,
I'm there.
Boom, he's there. So I kind of like that dynamic. I really did. That just shows how powerful it actually is. So those are my really three badass moments for her. How about you, Dan? What you got?
I was saying, she, when they did that in Avengers Volume 3 to start, like, she felt really guilty about it too, because she would, he would only show up like when she was in distress, and she felt guilty because she was like, I'm just using him as not as a person, but as a weapon, until he was able to like fully come back on his own. And it was when she was unconscious in distress, but was unconscious and couldn't summon him, and that's when he came back and stuck around.
Yeah. Yep.
So, for my three, I'll go in chronological order. I've got Avengers 161 when the Avengers were fighting Ultron. Ultron had beaten the Avengers, and Wanda was like, bet. Takes him out by herself.
Yes, nice.
The next one I've got, even though I absolutely hated the storyline then, and I still hate it now, I can't deny the sheer badass power of her taking out all the Avengers herself in Avengers Disassembled, and just just complete, like, not just killing members, but completely destroying the team until they put them back together in the horrendous New Avengers series, which is something that you can absolutely skip.
I like the New Avengers series.
You can look at the artwork on it, because the artwork is very beautiful and the story is very terrible.
Dan and I are going to review New Avengers Volume 1.
Hey,
stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
I have strong feelings on that, as you can tell. And the final one, No More Mutants. It's iconic.
Yeah.
It's, whenever we talked about it with Thanos last week when we brought up Infinity Gauntlet, like, you have to mention that with him, because even though it's obvious, there's a reason it's obvious. When you build an entire major crossover, and that by that time, Infinity Gauntlet was just like the 6-issue series, but like House of M was like a big thing. Even bigger. It was
that changed every ongoing title at that time to House of M.
Yeah,
all titles had it.
It was built all around her and her power, like Sal said, warping reality. And then at the end of it, the No More Mutants, which decimated mutants, left less than, it said like 198, but that was just symbolic. Well, they also said too, like, that was just kind of a symbolic number, but it was less than 300, and just essentially wiped out mutants as a race, because not only did most of them lose their powers, but there were no new mutants that were being born. So she essentially, with 3 words, essentially committed genocide until they were able to come back. And that was something that had lasting effects for years and years. Like, even up till recently, she was looked at as a complete pariah for mutants. And I mean, when you have that iconic of a moment, and the No More, just No More Mutants has become an iconic line in comics too. Yeah, that's got to be one of them. So, what do you got, Uncle? I'm guessing Avengers 161 was one of the ones on your list.
Let me just interject something really quick before Gary sets up. When she did the No More Mutants and all the mutants lost their powers, a lot of mutants died from that because they depended on their powers for whatever reason. So there's that addition. I wanted to throw that in there. Right. Exactly. Okay, Uncle Gary, take it away.
And look, I'm not upset you used Avengers 161. I'm acknowledging that's a great moment. So absolutely, it's so great that of course I have that. But Dan has neglected to mention something there, because I know this hurts his feelings. Something that happened in there to his favorite character. So in Avengers 161, Ultron surprise attacks them, and he's kicking their ass. Yep. Scarlet Witch starts throwing the hex magic on him and is shutting down all his circuits. He doesn't know what the hell to do. He can't fix them, repair them faster than she's scrambling them. And then she hits him with a big blast of hex energy, knocks him through the floor. Cap runs over there to check things out, and he makes a rare tactical error by Captain America, and he goes looks down in the hole, and Ultron shoots up one of his encephalo rays through Cap's brain and puts him in a coma, and then uses Cap's body as a shield to strike back at the witch, who can't focus her power at Ultron while she's holding Cap's body, and he takes her out, and then she's put into a coma for a while too. And then the next issue, 162, the Avengers that weren't, they thought they were dead actually at that point, but the ones that were left were the Black Panther, Iron Man, Wonder Man, and Thor. And Thor wasn't in the initial attack, and they went after Ultron, who had taken Janet, because he was going to download her psyche into Jocasta as his bride. Is the whole Opedal storyline going on? that his father's wife, which was Janet, he was gonna take. But anyway, Scarlet Witch was kicking Ultron's ass, and on the rare occasion, he counted probably 1, 2, maybe 3 in his life, the Cap made a rare tactical error and was used as a shield and took Wanda out. But it was badass because Ultron had no answer, and it's only about a page in the book. It's not a huge sequence, but it was still so badass that Ultron, who thought he had the answer for everything, had planned this attack, couldn't plan against her, and she was frying his circuits. So that's just a cool thing. And I will say this. I don't have no more mutants. You guys are absolutely right. That's badass. But I chose because I don't like crazy Wanda as much. I want to focus on her being a hero. And so I wanted to focus on her heroic efforts more. So I went smaller. And in Avengers 187, which was a great 3-issue, John Byrne, he did the art on this great 3-issue arc. And she was possessed by the demon Scython. And he had, through Mordred, had taken over her body, and Scython was using the hex magic for bad things, and all the Avengers, trussed up, hanging upside down, and when Scython, the Beast got on this is on Wundagore Mountain, and we had Bova, who Dan had talked about earlier, was there, and we had, that's such a great issue, such a great 3-issue arc, and Django has a little wooden doll puppet of Wanda, and they're able to use their combined energies to siphon Scython out of Wanda into this little puppet of the witch. And Quicksilver gets it with Scython inside this puppet and throws it toward the mountain. Wanda, who's recovered and is pissed off, blows the entire top of the mountain off and crushes that little wooden puppet. So she takes out an entire mountaintop to crush this puppet. So I just thought that was just, I thought that was hardcore. That was hardcore to do that. And then my third one is what also y'all touched upon, is when Morgana Le Fay in Avengers Volume 3, issues 1, 2, and 3, when she realigns the reality of the world and has put the Avengers, erased their mind and put them in kind of a feudal European landscape and all, the witch isn't with them because she has taken the witch and put her separately and bound her because she knows that Wanda can upset her plans, and she's scared to death that the witch is the only one she fears. And even though she had Wanda bound, Wanda concentrates her magics and she reassembles the energy. Wonder Man had been killed in Force Works 1. He'd been dissipated. He's energy. You just can't kill energy. But he's been scattered all, across the winds. And she pulls the energy back together, and Simon comes to help her. And then when they beat Morgana Le Fay, it's through Simon being rechanneled, and Wanda is cycling her chaos magic into Wonder Man, and then it's still not quite enough, and all the Avengers join hands, and they're focusing their energies as with Wanda as the conduit into Wonder Man. And then as Morgana is lashing out, she cuts the Vision in half, and Wanda, and she's holding back because she doesn't want to explode Simon again. And Wanda is holding back, and he's telling her, give me more. I know what I'm doing. I'm ready. I'm sacrificing this. Just do it. We have to beat her. And when Vision is cut in half, Wanda's fucking, freaking Wanda freaking snap. Yeah,
you get one.
That was just
PG-13s.
That was a frickin', yeah. Anyway, so Wanda just snaps and just kicks it into the highest gear possible, and Wonder Man's supercharged and just totally defeats Morgana and explodes to the winds again. But
that is beautiful George Perez artwork, is it not? Kurt Busiek doing the writing.
Sure is.
And let me say too, what Gary was saying. when he says every Avenger, it's not a team of like 6 or 7 or 8 Avengers. It's every Avenger. It was like every living member that had ever been part of the Avengers that was still around was it. So it's dozens and dozens of Avengers that she's pulling from. So it's not just a couple of them. Like she's, taking energy from all of them.
I have the first 16 issues of that run, so I guess I got some reading to do.
It is great, Tim. It's good reading. It is good reading.
All right,
so
Tim,
those are my 3. But again, I focused on her more as Wanda the hero, and you all 3 of you said no more mutants, and you are 100% right. I just wanted to focus on her as the hero. So but I want to acknowledge that y'all are right. On that.
As long as you're willing to admit that, Gary.
Yes,
I'm willing to admit it from the mountaintop.
The top
what mountain? Wandagore Mountain.
There you
It's not
go.
as high as it used to be because Wanda cut it in half.
Cut that crap out. All right,
out.
So Tim, you've already given us yours, so we're on to our next segment of critiques. So this is critiques of why we don't like this character, and I will let Dan go first on this one.
Dan, before you do, let's give an acknowledgement to another person in the chat. Heather, she says hello.
Hey, Heather.
Hello, Heather.
Glad to see you. Glad to see you.
So my critique is, and I kind of touched on it earlier when I was giving her origin. I hate the retcon that they did with her and with Quicksilver. It's like, oh yeah, Magneto's not really their father, and oh yeah, they're not really mutants. And the only reason they did it was because Fox held the rights to X-Men for the movies, and Fox was making a bunch of money off the movies, so they didn't want to do anything with these characters that Fox would be able to make money off of. So they're like, well, we're just gonna change all this stuff about them in there. And I hated that because guess what? Now they own Fox, so it doesn't matter anymore. So that's my main criticism, is just how they change that stuff for the most petty reasons. And like Gary said, she does, kind of go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs occasionally, and those have been some.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, those have been some great stories. They've been some of her best, most iconic stories. But at the same time, it's been done. It's been done to death at this point. Like we don't need.
I'll agree with that.
Again.
Yep.
She goes crazy all the time.
Yeah, they haven't really done it. Since House of M ended, like they haven't really done the crazy Wanda since then. But that they've done it so often that it's always lurking there, where they could, where they could like, oh, we could go this way. Like we don't need that anymore. It's been done, and it's been done very well. Just leave it be.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I will go next for this, and I'm going to actually mimic a lot what Dan has says. She's been retconned to death. I mean, there's just so much in it that it makes, like we were joking about this earlier, her origin is so cloudy now. We don't know where this is. Not even a scorecard could tell us what the hell is going on. So, I think on occasion, I think they made her so powerful that I think a lot of writers don't know what to do or don't know how to handle her, type situation. I think that's a problem. And the craziness has been done, and it needs to, it's been done well, and it needs to be in the past. I love the crazy Wanda, but I mean that's just me. But yeah, it's been done, and it's been done well. We don't need to go back to it again. That's just how I feel about that. So Tim, why don't you tell us what you got?
So I'm gonna stay in continuity here. I'm gonna say where like I talked about her compassion being a major strength, I think it can also be a weakness, and not to be exploited, but on her end, because she can be too compassionate and too overbearing, and it creates tunnel vision on her part, and that's where events like Avengers Disassembled comes in, and House of M and things like that. She could be very selfish with a lot of things that are personal to her, and when that tunnel vision gets in, she loses all focus, and she loses all attention to detail except for what she's looking at right there. And that, I think, is a fault of hers, and that is why a lot of former teammates, current teammates, and people that could be friends look at her with caution.
All right, very good. All right, Uncle Gary, wrap this segment up for us here.
You know, I'm more of a fan of Wanda the Witch than Wanda the Mutant. You know, I mean, I like because, you know, when we think about her being a mutant, you know, sometimes I like to think of the aspect that she has honed her craft more than she's relying on her mutant ability. I think her mutant ability enhances what she can do as a witch, you know, with all the, you know, the tutelage she had from Agatha and the work that she had done to make herself a better, you know, such a formidable sorceress. But I am not a fan of every other week that Wanda's crazy now. I think that when it first happened, when her children, it was revealed, were manifestations of her magic, when Master Pandemonium, you know, revealed that, and she went nuts then, and the Vision had also been disassembled at that point, and Wonder Man would not submit his brain patterns to bring the Vision back as he was, because he had been in love with her, which makes sense because the Vision and Wonder Man have the, you know, their minds were created, you know, using the same templates. So that made sense. So Wanda would have a tenuous grip on reality then, and that went into the John Byrne part of Saga and the West Coast Avengers, Darker Than Scarlet. And I get that. I certainly did. I think that was a great story and very, very much, you know, in character with what would happen. But I think they've just gone to that well too often, where it seemed like every few years we're going to make Wanda crazy. Yes, it was badass, but I hated her destroying the mansion, destroying the Avengers. You know, I think it was I think the No More Mutant stuff was very interesting and powerful, but I hated that it made Wanda the villain again. I'm not a fan of Wanda the villain, not at all. I want to remember her as a hero, as a hero of great heart and great love for her teammates, and always striving to, you know, to do what she can and to control her powers and all that. So I think her losing her mind in the Darker Than Scarlet series in West Coast Avengers, I think that was perfectly on point. But I just, you know, and if she's not losing her mind, she's being taken over, you know, like the Scython thing. I just think they go there too much with her. But, you know, but mainly just, you know, just crazy Wanda. You know, I just don't. I don't like it as often as they employ it. Is, you know, I think it's an easy crutch to go to.
Yeah.
And you know why they did that story in West Coast Avengers? It was because John Byrne didn't like her being married to Vision because he was an android.
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense that she would be married to an android and they would have kids. She shouldn't be married to an android. Like, it's just not right. And he hated it so much. He's like, I'm going to destroy Vision. I'm going to get rid of the kids. I'm going to break them up. All because John Byrne didn't like the relationship.
That sounds very familiar to what happened with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that would be awesome writer, Ed Wells.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Posada.
If Skynet takes over, they're going to wipe out John Byrne first.
We saw what you did to Vision. You're the first to go.
Yep. All right, Tim.
Terminate your ass.
Gary, are you done with that part there?
Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with that.
Okay. All right. So, Tim, did you go with their?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, then we're moving on to our next segment. We're just moving right along. Top covers, ladies and gentlemen. These are the covers that we love, and we're going to have Dan go first.
Dan, right on. There we go. That's the first one.
There you go.
Oh, no, wrong one. Never mind.
You did not see that, ladies and gentlemen. That was not right.
Sleight of hand,
ladies and
gentlemen. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so starting on the left, we've got Avengers West Coast issue 56. You'll actually see that that in the spinner rack behind me. It is the from that, you know, Wanda kind of loses her mind, goes evil thing. Like Gary said, the Darker Than Scarlet. which it's just such a great character. That was a pretty, she didn't have that costume long, but it was a pretty cool looking costume.
Yep.
But
I'm glad she doesn't have that short hair anymore.
yeah, she kind of looks like Marcy from Married with Children there.
Marcy didn't have a rack like that.
Well, no, she didn't.
No.
But it's just cool, like how she's so big and she's just holding the Avengers and they're just, and they're just falling out of her hand like they're just toys. It's just it was
Adam Hughes.
Yeah,
Adam Hughes did a great homage cover to that too. If you haven't seen it,
Yep.
On the end, it's the cover, the variant cover for Strange Academy issue 6. It's just very simple cover, just red background, and then her on top of it with red
DNA covers.
Yeah, it's not quite a one of the negative space covers, but it could be.
It's cool.
It's got her in her classic costume, which I still think is her best one. And she's just kind of making the hand gesture to do some magic. It just looks fantastic. It almost looks like she's just kind of lowering herself, from the sky. And then my favorite one of the three is the middle one, Scarlet Witch issue 1. It's from her current ongoing series now. I just think, the color's really good. It's, she's kind of doing the, the hands gestures to make the magic, and it just looks like a beautiful cover to me. And then you got that kind of galaxy type stuff happening behind her too, and the floating candles. It just looks really great.
Very witchy.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah.
So that red cover is by Nakayama. Nakayama?
DNA.
Yeah, David yeah, okay, that's where you're saying DNA for. I didn't know it was called DNA. That's very cool.
And the middle one is Daughterman or something like that, I think his name was.
Let's see really quick here.
Just enjoy those covers, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, enjoy those covers.
Yep.
Where is that?
Write down the issue number so you know. Now, with the West Coast Avengers cover, I know that issue is a little bit pricey at the moment. So
right.
Yeah, that's one that I've said it before on other shows that West Coast Avengers was a series that I liked, so I worked on getting a complete run of it years before. I thankfully finished it years before WandaVision, because the books were all dollar bin books. There wasn't, even though, which I always thought was weird, because it's like, I'm like, there's so much significant stuff that happens in this series. What they did to Vision, which completely changed him. They brought back the original Human Torch. They introduced U.S. Agent as U.S. Agent for the first time, and the stuff with Wanda's kids. The new Living Lightning. Like, there was so many things that happened in it, and the book was never worth money until WandaVision, and then the prices of all of them skyrocketed. And I'm just glad that I was able to complete my run before that happened.
Yeah. So that Scarlet Witch #1 is a Russell Dauterman cover.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, Tim, show us your top covers, Tim.
Okay, so my covers here. Let's go ahead with that Strange Academy right there. Same one that Dan has. I tried to stay more modern. Yeah, I tried to stay more modern with the way she looks. Excuse me, because that's what I like. I like on the DNA cover the classic costume, but just the modern artwork of that. It is so amazing. Words that I can't say on a program made for kids. It's seductive. It is, and I think that is the intent of the cover, because she is a witch. She's the Scarlet Witch, and if you get too close, you're done. Going into the middle with the Avengers, that is a variant cover for the ongoing series that Jed McKay is writing right now. Wonderful series, guys. If you're not reading that, get on it, because she is amazing in the story right now. And
I didn't see that cover. That's an amazing cover.
that was the one
love
that I
cover.
got.
Wow.
As soon as the title was announced and we got the covers for the comic shop, I was like, yeah, as Dan says, that's coming home with me.
It's coming with me.
I love that cover. I think that cover is fantastic, and it's got a very modern costume, very modern look, but still very classic in Wanda's sense. And then the one on the left, House of M, her losing it, right? This is crazy Wanda at its peak, and she is literally falling to pieces. And this is such an iconic Joe Quesada cover that it has to be included.
You can actually look at that in two ways. Either she's reforming or she's disassembling.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much interpretation on this cover.
Yeah,
Avengers disassemble?
Yeah. Do you have that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Uncle Gary, let's go through your top covers, and I'll go last.
All righty.
Great minds think alike.
No?
Yep, I like it.
Yep, absolutely. So, Avengers West Coast 56 there. Great John Byrne did that cover. I almost wish I had done the Adam Hughes homage, which I almost did, but I thought without the reference of the first one that it would be kind of wasted. So, but, it's still, I love the cover. Like Dan said, I love the fact that, Iron Man, Wonder Man, Pym, they're just dangling there. I guess that's Wasp too. Just dangling there like they're nothing. And these are some powerful Avengers. And she is just, larger than life. And they are clinging on for dear life. The one on the far end is Scarlet Witch. That's number 5 of her first series that was just solo. David Aja cover. I love the image of her with the sword, but what I really love are the three women that are being burned at the stake that are in her cloak. The imagery of that, because it dealt with the fact that that women were burned as witches, and I just love the imagery of that, of those women being burned at the stake within her, within the cloak of her body. And then the one in the center is Avengers 104, and I wanted to go old school. I was pretty sure nobody else would pick this, but this is more about an attitude and how the other Avengers are wiped out, and she's stay back, you won't destroy the Avengers, not unless you kill the Scarlet Witch, and she is just out in front of the team, protecting the boys and getting ready to blast them with her chaos magic. So that's by Rich Buckler and Joe Sinat. So it's just a great 20-cent Marvel cover that was back in the day when these books were in the spinner racks. And I just think, I love the perspective of the bad guy, his hands reaching forward. And then there's the witch protecting the boys. And that is Hawkeye in that weird uniform there with her. But, but she's there protecting the boys right there. So I love that cover.
Awesome. Good cover.
I must say that was a terrible Hawkeye costume.
It was a skirt.
And the little short.
He's wearing a skirt.
Look.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and flip over to my covers here, and I'll wrap up this segment. There we go. And like Uncle Gary, I went old school. I was only a few issues off of yours. I went with
nice.
Avengers number 113.
Good job.
And I went with this cover because it showed so much emotion, and you always get like the hero going, "I'm gonna kill you," and for it to be the woman saying this in this time frame is very rare. So I found this very powerful, and I like this cover. And it was really good. And of course, you see all the action in the background. And this is actually one of my stories. We'll get to that later on. We'll dig into that a little bit more. And then for the middle one, of course, I got Vision and the Scarlet Witch because I like the team up between these two. And with them, looks like they're fighting off zombies. It's Lovers and Zombies is the title there. And this issue, I guess, or this cover just connects with me in a way that I feel like this was worse for me. This is a book I see. I'm like, oh my God, I have to pick up this book.
That is Scarlet Witch and Vision in the 80s and all the glory.
And all the glory of the 80s. Okay. So for my last one, I've got Scarlet Witch number 5. This is from Volume 3, and this is the C cover. And like I think Dan has said this before with one of his covers, how it was very mystical in the background. You got her doing some chaos magic there, but it's almost a starry background. Her body is not really defined. Looks like she's blending in with the entire universe.
She's nebulous.
She's nebulous. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Uncle Gary.
You're welcome.
So
brother.
I like that cover for that because it really screams more witchy or chaos to me. So that's why I like this cover.
Nice.
Is that Peach Namoko that did that, or?
You know what? I am not sure. It looks like a peach.
I will look it up.
Check that.
Now.
Okay, you could check that up.
Would you say
that out?
Scarlet Witch Volume 3?
Volume 3, 5C.
That covers a peach. I'll tell you that.
I tell you that, yeah. It does look like her work. It does.
It is a Dustin Nguyen variant.
Oh, Dustin
okay.
Wynn. Dustin Wynn.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I can never pronounce that last name correctly. So.
Yep.
That's all right. That's very good.
Yeah. Man,
My small engine mechanic was a Vietnamese fellow, and it's his name was Hai, and his last name was Wynn, but that's how Wynn is spelled. Yeah.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump to our next segment, which is essential readings. And Gary, why don't you
sneak previewed earlier?
I know, which we've all dabbled in a little bit.
Yes, we have.
Here. But Uncle Gary, why don't you kick us off with your essential readings first?
All right, my essential readings are, we've talked about this where she fought Morgana Le Fay, but it's that great Kurt Busiek, George Perez Avengers. It's actually Avengers Volume 3. So it's Avengers Volume 3 because Volume 2 was that Liefeld, where they re-altered everything. But it's Avengers Volume 3. And I just picked issues 1 through 14. I mean, it goes a lot longer. But those issues you're dealing with, with when she beats Morgana Le Fay, and like Dan was talking earlier, where after that, she is still bringing Wonder Man back and using him as a weapon, and she's dealing with the guilt of that. And there's some stuff with Agatha Harkness in there. And then by issue 14, Wonder Man has come back, is fully reformed, and is a part of her life. So I really, I just think that Busiek and Perez did a great job on that. The second one is the Saga of Wanda and Vision trade paperback. And that's a trade paperback that has given you a lot of good stuff. It is giving you the Vision and Scarlet Witch, both of their miniseries, the first 4-issue miniseries, and it's giving you the much longer 12-issue miniseries.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's also giving you Giant Size Avengers 4, which is where the Vision and Scarlet Witch got married. So you get that in there too. So I think that is just, the Wanda and the Vision, love affair was so integral to the character at the time. And even though, later on it was Wanda and Wonder Man, it made perfect sense to me because, again, both characters' brains were based off the same templates. So, of course, that would happen. But I just think there's something classic and timeless about Wanda and the Vision. And if that's, if you like the Wanda Vision series and you don't know a whole lot about the characters, this is a great way to jump in and get a lot of information about them and a lot of their storylines together, and to get the caring of the two characters, how, their love and their relationship and their, how they fought for one another. And the last one is something we had talked about earlier too, that I talked about a lot, was the Knights of Wundagore storyline, which was from Avengers Volume 1, issues 185, 186, 187. Dan showed you the cover to 187 there. John Byrne was the artist in those 3 issues, and they were it was all fantastic. The writers were all over the place. You had Mark Greenwald and Stephen Grant did the plot for it, and David Michelini did the script for it, and then John Byrne with Dan Green did the artwork. But that's just a 3-issue, And those books aren't that expensive if you want to pick them up individually, but they've also been collected in quite a few trade paperbacks editions where you can get those stories. But it's Avengers Volume 1, 185, 186, 187, and that's where they delve into her origin a bit more with Django, and with you meet Bova, and you realize that it was you're at the High Evolutionaries Mountain, and you deal with Mordred and Scython, and it's just a really, really fun story with great art, great Avengers action, and those are my three.
Nice.
Awesome stories. Awesome stories. All right, Tim, why don't you go ahead and give us your stories now?
Okay, so let's see here. Let's go from the top of the list. Avengers Disassembled. That is so this, I think, is the modern beginnings of Wanda just losing it and taking people out with her. I'm not going to tell you like who she kills in there, but it's significant.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's significant. The title is exactly what happens. On the inside, an editorial and all that, they wanted to end the Avengers and kind of do a rehash in continuity, and this is the way they decided to do it, was with the Scarlet Witch, and they did it in destructive fashion. It is highly recommended. It's Avengers Volume 3, issues 500 through 503. It's the last issues of the run before they go into New Avengers, so definitely check that out. Go down to House of M. That is the continuation, I think, of this. Avengers Disassembled is like the start. House of M is right at its peak, where she is bananas and changes everything, like changes the aspect of how people perceive the world, puts it into her image, the way she wants things to be in Wanda's utopia. And Wolverine, I believe, is the only one that was unaffected, or was affected for a short time, but then because of his healing factor or something like that, he was able to figure things out, and then he goes from person to person trying to explain these things to him, and eventually coming to the climax of dealing with Wanda specifically. It's such an amazing story. It's a great story. Every title at the time that House of M came out was changed to a House of M title. It affected everything, just like Civil War did, and just like Secret Wars did later in the future. This is an iconic storyline. It had lasting effects on the Marvel Universe for years, and remnants of it are still there. And speaking of that, Uncanny Avengers right in the center, Volume 1. Just read the first storyline. This is after the events of House of M, after the events of No More Mutants, and this is at a time when they were incorporating the Avengers and mutants into a team together to show that the mutants could be trusted. And Wanda was part of that initial team. And I remember in the first couple of pages, it's where her and Rogue, I believe, are talking like at some fountain or something like that. And Wanda's not necessarily pleading her case, but she's taking this barrage of verbal punishment from Rogue, and Rogue's like, it's because of you that these things happened. It's because of you that we're in this position, and it's because of you that nobody trusts us, and I don't trust you, right? I don't think you should be here at all. I think you should be in prison. And she's like, you're right on everything you say. The only thing I can do is ask your forgiveness and hope that you can trust me in the future. It's just a very powerful first run for the Uncanny Avengers, and it's highly recommended on my end.
All right, good stories. Good stories indeed.
Like it.
How about you, Dan? What should have you go next? There we go.
Yeah, there we go. You guys have already covered all my stuff. So yeah, like Gary said, with Knights of Wundagore, he covered it pretty well. The only thing I'll say is started earlier around issue 181 when Django first shows up, because he shows up and he has the like Gary mentioned earlier, has the little wooden dolls, and like takes Wanda and Quicksilver's basically like takes their souls, their essence, and puts it in these dolls, and he's kind of broken from reality because he thinks of them as his children that were deceased. And then, it comes out who he is and who they are to him. So it, while the Knights of Wondergoria was the 185, 186, 187, the build up to it was a few issues earlier than, would kind of touch on them a little bit here and there leading up to that. And then, the Saga of the Vision, the Scarlet Witch, it was like Gary said, it was the collected volume of the 4-issue miniseries, the 12-issue miniseries, a couple other books thrown in there. So I feel like this is the very best thing if you want to get a good idea of the character, not just her, but of the Vision as well. Like that's an absolute must read. And and then House of M, Tim covered it pretty well too. So
Sorry.
Yep. It's all right.
It's cool. No, it's cool. It's just saying there's not really much to add. I mean, it's one of those things when they build an entire major crossover essentially around one character, it becomes a pretty major thing. And then so that's all I got to go with there.
Good job.
Okay.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good choices indeed. All right, let's go ahead and reveal mine then here. I'll wrap up this segment. Well, M-Day, I'm not going to go into that because that's been pretty much covered here among all these fine gentlemen. So I will jump to Avengers 113. And this is your young men shall slay visions. Now, so this came out in the 80s, and the Avengers are being attacked by what's a group called the Living Bombs. It's kind of a stupid name if you ask me, but they're a group of extremists. Imagine that, but they believe the Avengers are destroying American values, and based solely on the reason because the Vision and Wanda's love or union has become public, and they don't like this for some reason. So they're launching a major attack on them. And now the reason why I picked this story is because in the 80s, a lot of I felt like a lot of political correctness was coming out, and a lot of this stuff was coming out of oh, you're destroying American values. Oh, well, we got to be true to ourselves type of thing. And I really think this is one of those stories that just stands out in the 80s as that time frame. This is a story that you would find in the 80s, and I liked it for that reason. So, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but they do survive and everything is all good. But it led to that cover showing Wanda going, "You killed my man, I'm going to get you," that type of thing. So, so I like that, and we're going to jump down to Vision and the Scarlet Witch. Now, this is the cover I showed, and this is their miniseries that did 4 issues, I believe. They settled down, they go to the burbs, much like the WandaVision of the MCU's that's on Disney Plus. And there's a lot of good things in this book, which they resolve some of Wanda's past. They have guest starring Avengers and humans, Dormammu, Grim Reaper. It's just a good all around mini if you wanted to jump into the character right away. So
nice.
That's what I have for these.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to our next segment, and that is Best Writer and Artist. So these are artists and authors that we like, that draw the character or write the character really well. They don't necessarily have to be on the same issue. They could be from different issues, not even in the Scarlet Witch book, but maybe somewhere else that you liked it. So, Tim, why don't you go ahead and kick us off for that?
So best artist, I think, should go to George Perez. The work that he did in Avengers Volume 3.
We could just end the show right there. George Perez, done.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the list.
I think his work is perfect. The man's attention to detail, and Wanda requires a lot of it. And the writer, I'm going to have to go with Kurt Busiek. Again, that team, those two guys together, made a force to be reckoned with, and they took the Avengers from the abysmal place it was with Heroes Reborn to
and even before that, the Avengers before Heroes Reborn. Too.
Oh yeah, the tail end of Volume 1 was atrocious, but them two took it and reformed the Avengers, made them a team and a force to be reckoned with and force to be recognized once again. I don't think there's anybody better in the modern era than George Perez and Kurt Busiek.
Okay. All right, Dan, how about you? What's your best author and artist?
Yeah, there's there's been a lot of good ones, and usually they're all associated with Avengers, but I had to pick Steve Englehart. He wrote her in the Avengers, and then he wrote both of the Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries that really, which was the first time that she really had the spotlight on her outside of being, part of the Avengers or another book. So I had to go with him. And then for artist, it was a tough call for me because even though I really liked John Byrne, his work on her in Avengers, and then later West Coast Avengers, you got to go with George Perez.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantastic, and especially the way he drew her too, like Tim said in Volume 3, where he kind of added a lot of the
well, she had that gypsy kind of costume too, so there was a lot to do there.
Yep, I like it. All right, Uncle Gary, why don't you go ahead and give us your two, and I'll finish this out.
Let me say, Dan that's a great call with Englehart, and that was a big consideration for me because he did add a whole lot to that, and he had written previous Avengers stuff too in Volume 1. He was a big part of her development, but without a doubt, it's going to have to be George Perez for the artist. And I was going to mention this, Tim, you brought it up, the gypsy costume. So the costume, her classic costume was basically a swimsuit and a cape, right?
Yeah,
it still looked great. But what Perez added to it, the gypsy element to it, the little bit of witchiness to it, I thought was brilliant.
The bracelets and all that stuff.
Absolutely, because she is a gypsy. And I just thought that was brilliant. How the skirt flowed, all that. And she still looked, was still just stunningly beautiful. I think that is just brilliant. And from a writer, I'm also going to Busiek because when they relaunched the Avengers Volume 3, they brought the Avengers back and they hit the ground running. They loved it. And again, I had said before, I'm a fan of the heroic Wanda. And the way that they portrayed her in that entire run, and I know they did 4 great big hardback volumes of that went to, I think, to the 50-something issues. Perez had left by that point, but Busiek was still writing. Yeah. And it ended with a great Kang storyline. Yeah. And Wonder Man and Wanda were in a prison camp and still working with the underground and sacrificing to take Kang out. And it just, the relationship was so wonderful. He wrote her as a hero, not as a crazy woman. And that's the kind of Wanda I like. He brought her back to prominence, brought her back to her heroic status. So for me, that's what made, that's what tilted it for me. Again, Englehart is a fine, solid choice, but is because of Busiek bringing her back to her status as an A1 heroine, that we can all root for. And with Perez's gorgeous art, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. All right, so for my choices, I'm going to go completely different from you guys. Get ready. I'm going to go with George Perez as the artist. I actually have John Byrne, Steve Englehart, and Busiek as my choices for artist or author, excuse me. And I'm going to lean towards Byrne. I really am. I love the other guys' work, really do, and they all fit. They're all integral for this character, and they all could have been in the number 1 slot. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick one out of the hat, and it's going to be John Byrne.
John Byrne's perfect, though.
That's just fine too. Yep.
So, but it was very hard to pick between those two. But for art, it's George Perez, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Slam dunk.
Yeah, slam dunk. All right, guys, this has been a great episode here. Do we have any last-minute thoughts for Scarlet Witch?
I'll say this: Scarlet Witch with Wonder Man, Vision, or Brother Voodoo. Which do you like best?
Vision.
Wonder Man.
Wow, I'm the outlier.
What about you, Dan?
Dan, what'd you say?
I don't like the Brother Voodoo thing at all, so I'm gonna go. It's tough with them, but I'll go Wonder Man.
All right, Tim, you're out.
See you guys. Right on.
Hey,
I
listen,
understand.
You're
You
voted
know
off
what?
the island.
Vision is the traditional
Yeah.
sense. There's nothing
is.
wrong with that. But I'm biased because I'm a huge Wonder Man fan too. So I mean,
Agree.
yeah. So
I like
totally
Vision
agree,
and
too.
Wonder Man, but I like Wonder Man more.
Fair enough.
me too.
Yep. All right, guys. I guess we can go ahead and wrap this one up. Wow, it's an hour and a half. This has been a great episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Once again, thank you for all the input and all the information. You guys are tremendous at this, and I love every minute of it. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. You can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner or Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan the Man Kelly, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Go give me a follow. Go give me some likes on some work, and give me some comments and let me know what you want to see next.
Scarlet Witch.
What'd you say?
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
First off, let me say, great show, fellas. I really enjoyed doing this with y'all. Great opinions, great insight. I love this roundtable discussion we do. You can see me every Wednesday at Comic Logic. That is Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Please come by and see me. And Wednesdays when I'm getting my fix right here in this arm, I'm putting those
arm?
new books in there. Yep. I've got a lot. Sometimes I have to move to this arm, but that's where I'm getting the 4-color infusion from these wonderful new books we get every week. Please come see us. And we have a big event coming on October 29th. It's a Sunday from 12 to 4. We have our semi-annual Lot Con, where we turn our parking lot into a little mini Comic Con. We'll have comics. We'll have local artists, local authors. We have a vendor that has jewelry. We have vendors that have toys. Inside, we have, come in our shop too. You'll see our wares, our stuff. And we also have my good buddy, Damian Hill from Warthog Comics. We'll have some silver and golden age and bronze age classics on the wall for you to peruse and look at.
Mm-hmm.
So please come. It's a family-friendly thing. Please come wear costume. There's costume contests. Please bring your kids. We're going to have a trunk or treat event. So we'll have Halloween decorations and goodies and candy and all that. If you come, not only do you get me, but you get the bonus of seeing Dan and Sal there with their families. So, that's
signing autographs.
That's right. That's worth the cost of admission. And you know what the cost of admission is? It's free. Come, please.
I'll be sitting on the curb with my guitar case open, strumming.
That's right.
Throw quarters in so I can buy comics with them.
And when you see all three of us, you are absolutely getting what you pay for.
100%, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
100%.
100%. So please come see us, and also check all of us out. We're all contributors on the Comic Character of the Day site. Want to give our good buddy Archduke Kevy some love. I post the covers of the day. Dan has panels of the day, questions of the day. Sal's a frequent contributor there. Tim chimes in and says if we're doing good or bad sometimes. So that's us. So and to close out our little round table here, let's go to the top, and the man whose voice just keeps all of us awake at night as we're trying to get home on those long hours, those wonderful baritone vibes of Tim the Terrible coming through your radios, boys and girls.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight on Comic Character of the Week. I hope that you guys check out the recommended readings and even go window shopping on some of them covers. All of them are gorgeous, as you are. And as a matter of fact, you can find us on your favorite social media platforms. All you got to do is type in at the Codex Station. That is where we will be. Facebook, Instagram, etc. X, formerly Twitter, now Twitter, and where we live stream right now. Once again, at the Codex Station. Like, share, subscribe. Don't be afraid to do that. We want you to be part of this. Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, remember this, thecodexstation.com. We got some restructuring going on there, but you need to write that down because as soon as it goes live again, that's where you can go to get some merch, meet the team, and so much more. Once again, thecodexstation.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. This is the Codex Station Comic Character of the Week signing off. Not only do I hope you guys have a 9.8 day, but we'll see you in the next one.